I'm looking back at the albums I heard growing up. Not the obvious ones like Frampton Comes Alive or Freewheelin', just the deeper cuts. So here are the albums that made me. Just so you know, this one's going to be a lot of backstory and only a little music. My time in Nashville is, I'm guessing, probably atypical of a lot of people's lived experience in many ways. We lived in a rented 3-bedroom place in a working class neighborhood on the south side of Nashville. My mom was sometimes working 3 jobs at a time, all of them in like bars and restaurants. None of that is necessarily novel though, but simultaneous to that, my stepfather was songwriting, recording, playing the occasional gig, even touring when he could. And despite living in a working class neighborhood, my sister and I were attending a prestigious private academy in Franklin, Tennessee, about 20 miles away. So at that time, for me, it meant 2 things. First, I didn't go to school with any of my friends from the neighborhood, not until 6th grade anyway, when I moved to a different private school closer to home. And second, I was considerably less affluent than any of my classmates. On a practical level, though, our situation also meant super early mornings, and our alarm in the morning was also something I'm betting was not typical for many of y'all. See, my stepfather John had invested in some top-of-the-line prosumer audio gear for our home stereo, and this included a cassette deck with a scheduled play option. So bright and early every morning, the speakers in our living room would fire up, and my sister, my mom, and I would all wake up to the opening synth sounds of Steve Windwood's While You See a Chance, first song on Arc of a Diver. Nothing woke John up before noon. So safe to say I've heard the first few tracks of Arc of a Diver a lot in my life. And it's a pretty great album, especially considering that every note, every beat, and every syllable came from Steve Windwood. This is a true solo project, with some of Windwood's best songwriting, I think. It certainly feels like it belongs right at the start of the 80s, too. The standout tracks for me are Night Train and, of course, While You See a Chance. Final analysis, is this an album I still like? Yeah. Is this an album I still spin regularly? Maybe once a year? Would I recommend Arc of a Diver? Probably, but if you're new to Steve Windwood's music, I still think I'd start with Traffic.